back with another video, and this time it's about differential drop. I put together a differential drop that can fairly compete with the template drop pick and actually gave you, maybe could help you get some of this in your own actual team. So let's begin. First up with the goalkeepers is Martinez and Areola. I chose Martinez. Like Areola is just, I didn't count differential for bench players. That's not important. Just pick players who will start on the most cheapest price possible. That doesn't matter. All matters is to start in 11. So Martinez in goal. He has fairly good fixtures because Aston Villa are also signed Pau Torres recently, so their defense is now even more rock solid. And Emery is a defensive manager. He knows how to defend. He'll just grind out wins, and if he sees an opportunity, then he'll. Martinez is a solid goalkeeper all around, so I don't see much of a problem picking him. He'll do fairly well. He can save penalties. He's one of the best penalty savers as well, and he saves a lot of shots. Can't do much wrong with him. He's the best out of the bunch I found. So next up, in the defensive line, it's Zinchenko, Bayer, Stones, Chilwell, Dalot. Zinchenko to cover the Arsenal defense. I didn't pick Gabriel because he was too popular. Even though he was less than 20% on, he's a popular asset. So the differential has to be Zinchenko, right? Like, he can attack. He has good assist threat. Sometimes goals, but mostly assists. And he's a fullback, and he's nailed on the left side because they didn't sign anyone new on the left side, and Tierney lost his place to Zinchenko. And the other, like 4 million, it's Bayer, whatever. Like Zinchenko, like I think he could get subbed off like in 60th minute or 70th minute, but I think like for the majority of the games he will play, and by that time Arsenal will actually finish up their match by 3-0, 2-0, because mostly their matches end in the first half anyway. They get all their goals in the first half, and then they like run out of steam because they just keep on pressing. Next is I chose Stones. Stones because I wanted to have a Man City defender in this one. In my actual draft I don't have any Man City players except for Haaland. So it's, since the money is floating around in this draft with no Haaland in it, it's best to use them on players that I can't actually get and are differential. People want to get but they can't because of the money. And in this draft it allowed me to have such players like Stones, Chilwell in one draft. Stones has to be the Stones could get subbed off sometimes, but he should be playing besides Rodri as the number 6 or something, like the pivot in the new formation 3-2-4-1 or something like that, 3-2-4-1 or something. I don't quite remember. It's been a while since I saw a Man City game. And beside him is Chilwell because Reece James is the popular one. He's highly owned. And Reece James, what do you know? You got injured. You're gonna have a scan. I knew James wouldn't last that much. He couldn't even last until the first kick of the ball. Unbelievable. Chilwell, I told you, like, he's such a better option because he doesn't get injured as much as James does. Chilwell has goal threat as well. And on the left hand side, people say he could get rotated, but come on. Cucurella can't take his place. And the other one, I think, Hall, his name is, like, he's too young and inexperienced to take Chilwell's place, so Chilwell should be nailed. And in the back four, he did play in back fours and he did score and assist in back four, so he should be fine. And the other one is a Man United defender, Dalot, because Shaw is highly owned, so the next best thing is Dalot. Dalot should be nailed over Wan-Bissaka because he suits Ten Hag's style way better. He can get upfield, he can attack, he has to attack in outfield. For defense, like, he has those center backs and the goalkeeper. I don't think he will be too much, like, Ten Hag won't think of him like him to defend too much. You'll probably see his fullbacks to attack more often, and that's why Dalot should be nailed over Wan-Bissaka. And for 5 million, he could be worth it. He did get some bonus points last season as well when he got in return. So he kind of a bonus point magnet. Moving on to the midfield, we have Martinelli, Grealish, Bruno Fernandes, Salah, and Pascal Gross. Now this is a midfield you don't quite see. Martinelli, because I didn't pick Jesus. Jesus is the popular pick. So in replacement, Martinelli is the best I got, because Saka is also absolutely popular. So the best pick was left is Martinelli, because he's nailed on the left side. Yes, he will get subbed off early because of Trossard and other players, but Martinelli is the first choice. And maybe sometimes Martinelli will stay and Jesus might get subbed off for Trossard, because Trossard did play as the striker while Martinelli was at left wing, and they had a good chemistry between them. They understood their positions well. They played Arteta's system very fluidly, so it could be done. So Martinelli could sometimes get 90 minutes, depending on the match, depending what Arteta thinks. But since it's a differential draft, the best pick is Martinelli, and the man beside him, Grealish, the Man City midfielder I went with, because Foden, I don't know. Mahrez is leaving for Al Ahly. Another Saudi Arabia clubs are getting these older Premier League players, which I don't mind. I really like seeing this. Give me some interest in watching that league. But anyway, for Manchester City, Grealish I think is nailed on that left side, because Foden is versatile enough to play in a different position. So for Pep might play him to the middle, Pep might play him on the right side, but Grealish and Haaland has that chemistry between them. I don't think Pep would like to ruin that. Grealish did play in the important matches as well. Grealish is now fully bedded into the starting 11 of Manchester City, and he had a wonderful season last season. But as a standalone, yeah, he did improve, but I think he could do better. So maybe this season he could do better. Next midfielder I want to talk about is Bruno Fernandes, because Rashford is the popular pick. So best thing is I've gone with Bruno, because most people just spend the 0.5. They somehow find a way to get that 0.5 million to upgrade from Bruno to Rashford. So Bruno just automatically becomes a differential then. He's less owned than Salah. He's at 22%. So he should be a differential. Even though it doesn't seem like differential, but he should be in the context of Rashford being so highly owned. Bruno Fernandes, the captain, the most nailed player in Ten Hag's side. He's on penalties as well. That's a huge plus. And he sometimes gets assists, but not always, because he sometimes gets the assist of the assister. That really annoys everyone. He's one of those players, like, he's really good in real life but not in fantasy sometimes. That's what he gave us last season. That's the vibe he gave us. Sometimes he got assists, and sometimes he just helped other people get assists and goals and left away with nothing. So that's one frustrating bit about him. But he's on pen still. And the other two are Salah. Salah has to be in it since Haaland isn't here, so there's money flowing around. Salah has to be in the draft to compete against the template draft. Otherwise, it's gonna be a losing battle every single week. And the next one is Pascal Gross in replacement of the highly owned Mitoma. Pascal Gross, I heard De Zerbi loves Pascal Gross because of his versatility, and he has his creative side as well. He could be on some set pieces, that's what I heard. He's nailed, I think, on that first 11 of Brighton. Like, if you think about the strongest Brighton side, Gross is in it. And because of Gross, I think Enciso can't be in it. So Gross has to be the best thing. You could also say I could have picked March over here, but I wanted to go with Gross because he's seems like more like he's bound to get more assists and goals because he plays through the middle while March stays on the right. Maybe I'm wrong, but it could easily be March here. The choice is yours. And finally, we come to the forward line. Sturridge doesn't matter. It's a bench player. I don't count bench players. I didn't give much attention to them. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the one I picked because from my differential video, I really liked him a lot in that 6 million price point. He's the best one I found. The other one is Evan Ferguson, but I already have a Brighton attacker, so I picked DCL for versatility and take advantage of his fixtures. Everton, their main goal threat will be DCL. The problem is he has to just stay fit, but he's a great option all around. He's gonna be on penalties as well. He's their main threat. And let's talk about Kane. Kane, like he had a really great season again, but just overshadowed because of Haaland having an even massive season. But can't take away the quality he displayed at Spurs. He might go to Bayern this summer, but who knows? Daniel Levy won't let him go that easily. And Spurs has some decent fixtures because they started with Brighton and Man United. That's a bit rough, but from game week 3, their fixtures are green. Like Bournemouth at home, Burnley at home, Sheffield United away. Those are really good fixtures, and with an attacking manager in charge, Kane should score more goals. So that's why I think this team can compete against the template team fairly well, because to counter Haaland you have Salah and Kane and even Grealish to get a little bit of something from that Man City attack, get some assist from Haaland's goal, and you have Salah and Kane to counter Haaland's points. And then you have Bruno to go up against Rashford, Dalot against Shaw or Onana, Zinchenko against Gabriel. They're probably going to get almost the same points unless Gabriel just keeps on scoring more frequently. Stones, you have Man City player who will get you clean sheets. So that's another player to counter Haaland's points. Martinelli to counter Saka, and Jesus. That's the only, I think, battle you will definitely lose in this draft. And Gross against Mitoma. That's a 50-50. And Chilwell's there in the bench for the first game week, and then he can come on, and you'll have a Chelsea cover. And yeah, that's about it. Like it's got coverage and diversity as well. You can compete fairly well. So yeah, hopefully you like this video. Like and subscribe, it really helps me out. And yeah, I'll catch you later next for hopefully the preseason ends and I can do a preseason, the best players from preseason video. That's what I'm waiting to do. So I would quickly want to see how people does in the preseason. So yeah, catch you later, and thanks for watching.